Hello everyone and welcome back to a short EP review. In this video I'm going to review Love Letters by Logistics. This is a brand new EP out of the drum and bass producer Logistics, which goes much more into the direction of liquid drum and bass. And Logistics was probably the artist that introduced me to this style of drum and bass, and he happens to be one of the greatest producers of this style in my opinion. Over the years, Logistics has done some of my favorite drum and bass works ever. For the most part, the tracks he creates are beautiful, majestic, and they have such a gorgeous atmosphere to them. They're euphoric, they're pretty catchy, and I get that feeling of joy that is such a significant point of liquid drum and bass, and Logistics for me is one of the greatest on doing that. After a certain point though, some of his works can be a bit repetitive, and I don't love everything that he does. I think that he has made some really exceptional works over the years, but there are a few of them where I can find a few tracks that I really enjoy, but not as a whole thing. And unfortunately, I don't think that Love Letters is one of the most impressive works I've heard out of Logistics. It keeps to some similar directions and going into a formula that we're pretty familiar with. In some occasions, I think that this one works. It makes for some tracks that actually are pretty good, but for the most part, I think that this EP does not contain some of the strongest moments in Logistics' entire discography, and in my opinion, he has done stuff like this better in the past. The self-titled introduction is by far for me the greatest moment out of this whole project. This is a track that really manages to capture the passion and the euphoric nature of liquid drum and bass. It is an extremely catchy and beautiful song. There is not something really unique or all that different about this particular song, but in my opinion it's done in a really cool way. It actually makes for one of the coolest songs I've heard out of Logistics in recent memory. And after this short introduction we get into the teaser track Vega, which I've listened to it before the release of this EP, and I would say that I wasn't really looking forward that much to this particular release after listening to that song, because I didn't really find something all that special about it. Vega is a track that goes into some really similar patterns, and at the end of the day it simply feels like your average liquid drum and bass song that doesn't really have that much more to it. But I was much more disappointed with the next teaser track, Continuation, which this really made me not looking that much forward to this release. Continuation is a track that goes into a bit of a different direction. It has a bit of a slower tempo to it, it's not a drum and bass song, it actually goes more into this sort of dance floor electronic dance music vibes, which is kinda cool. It makes for some chill vibes and it's pretty atmospheric, but in my opinion this one is not executed all that well. I think that it's a pretty boring and an interesting song, and Logistics has experimented with sounds like this in the past. This for me is not one of the strongest executions, and it doesn't really help that this is the longest moment over here going for 6 minutes, and it doesn't really deserve it. I think that this is a really repetitive and boring song, which the main melody can become a bit infectious, but I wasn't really that much into this song in particular. I think that the track Secret Satellite serves as a pretty decent moment in terms of a pretty basic liquid drum and bass song with elements that we've heard from Logistics before, and I think that they're done in a pretty cool way over here. Nightingale is another one of those tracks that goes into a bit of a different direction. It's a bit of a more dance floor style track, and I didn't particularly like the feature out of this. I think that the vocals go into some really basic generic directions that in my opinion don't really sound all that great. I mean, the chorus can be a bit infectious, and it's not like it doesn't have its vibes. It's a pretty chill and catchy song, but it's really not that much for me. I think that the EP has a pretty solid finisher, with the track Pleasure being one of the standout moments. Again, there's nothing really all that exceptional about this song in particular, but I like its catchy and energetic elements. I think that it works pretty nicely in tracks like this. So for me, this EP has its moments, but that's all about it. I think that if you want to get into Logistics music, I think there are much better places to start with some of their first albums, which in my opinion are some of the greatest material when it comes to liquid drum and bass. So yeah, for me this EP doesn't really do that much justice into the Logistics catalog. If you're familiar with the sound though, you're definitely gonna find some enjoyable moments over here. I'm gonna give Love Letters a 6 out of 10. What's your opinion on this EP? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.